Hey everybody, Matt Williams here. If you didn't see my introductory video, remember I'm just an amateur average golfer. Right now I'm at an 8 handicap, and one of the things that I thought I would do is I thought I would start to just explain to you what's currently in my bag. So then in the future, if I do any product review, it'll make a lot more sense, and you have a baseline kind of establishment of what I'm playing with right now. So I think I'm going to start with driver and work my way down and explain to you what I have, when I've got it, whether or not I got fitted for it, and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll just go right through it. So starting with the driver, I have got the TaylorMade M5. So that's my driver. So I got a 9-degree driver. I did not get fitted for this, which a number of my professional buddies and very low scratch or even plus handicap buddies thought I was absolutely ridiculous for not getting fitted for this. But I got the TaylorMade M5. I purchased a 9-degree loft, so its standard loft is 9 degrees. And this has been a fun thing. As my game has changed and improved, it's been fun to kind of play around with the settings and the weights on this. Now, I do have a new shaft. This is a Fujikura Ventus Black shaft, which is what's in here right now. And when I got fitted for my new shaft, which I did get fitted for, I tried a lot of new shafts when my initial one broke, and no, it didn't break because I slammed it or anything. It just cracked and snapped. Anyways, but when I got fitted, the fitter that was helping me with my shaft, select the shaft, he put the weights on both of the far ends here to kind of give this a real neutral thing. And if you've been following any of my other videos, you know that when I bought this driver last year, I was about a 20 or so handicap, and now I am an 8. So all along, going from a 20, I started the 2020 year as a 16. So as my swing has improved and changed, the settings of my weights have changed. Where I'm at right now is I actually put them both in the middle, one all the way forward and one all the way back, both in a straight line in the middle. Now that lowers the trajectory of this driver, but I really feel like it is a good setting for me. Now, one thing I did do is I did just slightly bump up the loft on this. So it's probably, instead of, if the standard is a 9, I'm right at about a 9.5 right now. And I would say I am hitting my driver better than I ever have. I was just on a TrackMan and looking at my stats. I don't have them all memorized, but my average carry was around 255 with total distance around 285. Maybe it was more like 260, 280, right in that range there. My spin, I think, if I remember correctly, was around 2,000 RPM. But yeah, so that's what I have, is the TaylorMade M5. I'm strongly considering getting a new driver. So when I'm testing drivers, it is with the thought that I might replace the M5. I'm not exactly hitting this bad though, so if I replace my driver, it'll only be because I found something that I'm playing quite a bit better. Now, down to my 3-wood. Now this 3-wood I did get custom fitted, and this was an interesting experience. So in previous iterations of kind of how I built out my bag, I went straight from driver and then didn't have any woods, other woods or hybrids, went 2-iron, 3-iron, 4-iron and on. And I couldn't hit a 2-iron for diddly squat. Really didn't hit a 3-iron that well, and didn't hit a 4-iron really any further than my 5-iron. I could hit my 5-iron adequately well for considering what my handicap is. So I made a commitment and a decision to really get a proper 3-wood and also some hybrids. Now, on this 3-wood, the interesting story on this, so just so you know, I've got the Cobra King F9 or the Cobra F9 3-wood. I absolutely love this thing. I hit it very, very well, at least again for my handicap. It's a 14.5 degree loft. I've got it set at the standard loft. And this has got really well. Now the interesting thing about this is when I got my when I got this 3-wood, when I went to try out the 3-woods. Now, I am really very much a TaylorMade fan, just so you guys know. I just have a little bit of just natural bias towards TaylorMade. So when I went in to get fitted for a new 3-wood, I went in saying, show me the TaylorMades. And so I started with the TaylorMades first, and then I hit a lot of other clubs, basically all the main big name brands. And the fitter that was helping me, who's right here at our club as a matter of fact, he says, why don't you try this Cobra? Well, I just am not a fan of the Cobra brand. I just don't like it, really, quite frankly. And I don't have really much of a reason not to like it. I just didn't like the Cobra brand. And so I hit this very reluctantly. But wouldn't you know it, the F9 3-wood, the Cobra F9 3-wood, I was smoking all of my data, all of my numbers, particularly distance, was flat out the best with the F9. And I'll tell you, there's lots of people that have reviewed this club out here, but these rails really I find very helpful. I hit the ball pretty straight. If anything, I hit a little, gentle cut with this usually, but otherwise it's either dead straight or a gentle cut, and my numbers are really good with this. So yeah, I landed on the Cobra F9, which shocked me because it was the absolute dead last one that I went into the fitting saying that I wanted, and wouldn't you know it, it is the one that I hit the best and is the one that ended up in my bag. All right, moving on to my hybrids. I'll just show you one of them. I got 2 hybrids. I went with the Sim hybrids, and I've got a 3 hybrid, the Sim Max hybrids. I've got a 3 hybrid and a 4 hybrid, and on both of these I have the Tour AD shaft. Now let me tell you, I did not get fitted for these. I knew I wanted hybrids. In reading all the reviews and watching a lot of YouTube reviews, the Sim Max was the one I was really partial to. So without testing lots of hybrids, I went and found a guy in Texas, I'm up in Oregon, a guy in Texas that was selling these. So it was the pair, the 3 hybrid and the 4 hybrid, with the Tour AD shafts. I got the pair for $500. That's US dollars. And if you know anything about these Tour AD shafts or the Sim Max hybrids, that is a smoking deal. And I won't lie, they have not disappointed. I've been absolutely thrilled. And they addressed a hole. They addressed a gap that I really needed with my distance. The gap between my 5-iron and my 3-wood, this 3 and 4 hybrid fit in nicely, and so I really got all the distances covered. Now for my current irons, why don't I just pull out my pitching wedge here. So for my current irons, pitching wedge through 5-iron, I have the TaylorMade RSi 2s. And these are now 6 years old. I bought them brand new, but I wasn't really playing any golf when I got them. So they sat in my garage for years and have only really been playing the last 2 years. I won't lie, I really like this iron. As I've gotten better, I hit them better and better. There's a boatload of forgiveness. They're a little bit chunky. They're really meant to be, I think, designed for mid to high handicap guys, and so that has worked out for me. They're really strong. They're pretty strong lofted, and so the distance that I get out of them is pretty good distance, especially for an 8 handicap. I hit all my irons pretty well. I will tell you this, given their age and the fact that my game is improved and I think I can step up to a little bit more higher quality iron, I'm gonna go and start testing irons. And I think that is going to be, in fact, I know that's the next thing that's gonna get replaced in my bag is my iron set. So these RSi 2s are currently in the bag, but they will not be in there for long. What I'm gonna replace it with, I have no idea. Remember, I already told you guys I'm biased towards TaylorMade, so I'm really excited to go hit the TaylorMade P7 MCs, also the 770s and the 790s. I'm excited to hit all of those irons. Of course, I'm going to test out a lot of other brands as well, and hopefully I'll be able to document that and share that with you guys to some degree. And I'll, we'll talk about product review later, but I just think when it comes to product review, when you're watching all of these professional golfers, who are scratch or plus handicap golfers. For us guys that are 5, 7, 9, 15 handicap, 12 handicap golfers, sometimes it's hard to translate what they're looking for and the feel that they like in an iron or any club versus what guys like us need or like or would hit really well. So my hope is, as an 8 handicap, as a very average amateur golfer, that my reviews of equipment will come in handy to a lot of you, so that you say, okay, well, this guy's kind of more like me, and here's what he thought about him. All right, moving on to my wedges. I just got 3 new wedges. One of them isn't here. So I had Cleveland wedges before. I still have my lob wedges still to Cleveland because I'm still waiting on that to arrive. But what I bought is I bought a gap wedge, a sand wedge, and a lob wedge from TaylorMade, and I got the TaylorMade MGs. Oh my goodness, you guys. I love these wedges. They are doing everything I hoped that they would be doing. My distance hasn't changed one bit, but my spin rate is way higher. My ball flight's a bit higher, and these are nibbling on the green. They absolutely, help the ball grow some teeth and stop on the green far better than I've ever been able to before. Now, the degree loft that I went with a 56 on my sand wedge, I went with a 50 on my gap wedge, and I got a 60 on my sand wedge. Now, what's interesting about that is the way my bag is built out right now, 50 degree is really the appropriate, shall I say, degree loft, and the distance that I get out of 50 degree, I thought about going 52, but it really worked out better for me in terms of the loft and the distances that I hit all these clubs to go with a 50 degree for my gap wedge, which I know is kind of a big difference to go from 50 to 56 then for my sand wedge. But to me, it works out. And at the end of the day, for us golfers, that's all that really matters. Tradition can be darn, professional golfers have the best advice for sure, but at the end of the day, I think we each have to just decide kind of what works for us. And going from a 50 to a 56 and a 50 to my pitching wedge, that works for me right now. What's going to be really interesting though is when I get new irons, there's a strong likelihood that whatever new iron I get is going to be lofted differently, probably a little bit weaker loft. I just have a sneaky feeling that's where I'm going to land. And that could kind of play some weird games with that jump to the 50 when I go to my gap wedge. But we'll just see how that plays out. But let me just tell you, these are the newest club in my bag, the TaylorMade MGs for my wedges, and I absolutely love them. Lastly, Scotty Cameron putter. So this is the Newport or Select Newport 2 or Newport 2 Scotty Cameron putter. Recently made an adjustment where we bent this a little bit. So with our fitter here at Olin Golf Course, I stood up and because I was kind of toying around with whether or not I should get a new putter, and I strike this pretty well. Again, relative to my handicap. And the one thing that he noticed is my alignment was actually really good. We put a little laser thing, we connected a laser to everything, and my alignment with my putter was actually really spot on to whatever my read was. So whatever now whether or not I read it correctly, that's a completely different story. But whatever my read was, the line I was trying to play, I was able to align this putter really accurately. But, however, when I was putting, based on how I was gripping and my stance above the putter, this toe was pointed straight up at the sky almost. So he took the liberty of making an adjustment, bending and adjusting the loft of my putter. So now as I stand over the ball, this putter is a lot flatter to the putting surface. And ever since that adjustment has been made, my putting is doing pretty darn well. Again, relative to my handicap, but I'm putting it much, much better. I honestly don't see any reason to replace this putter right now. I have a feeling that if I were to guess, the next thing that's going to be getting replaced in my bag, as I mentioned, is the irons. Probably the next one after that will be driver. And then I'll probably stand fast for a while. I don't know that I'll be making any other changes for a bit, but yeah, I like this putter. It's a nice soft feel. I hit it pretty well. It's relatively forgiving, even if I do tend to miss it on the heel or even on the toe a little bit, the ball still rolls pretty well. So this putter works out well for me, and I'm gonna stick with it. So, everybody, oh, my putter cover. All right, so that is a tour of what is currently in my bag. So when you see me out there playing and talking about what I'm working on, you know what I'm hitting, you know what's in my bag. And then when I go to test out other products, you'll know what's in my bag and what I'm looking to replace. So for future videos, look out for those. That'll be the irons that I'm really gonna be focused on next. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this. It's funny if you're interested in this stuff. I love this stuff. I love talking golf, so hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. Remember to smash that like button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click subscribe so that you can see the changes in my bag later on, and also the continued developments in my game as time moves on. So anyways, there it is.